Okay, we looked at constructors, we looked at instance variables, we even had a print method that we were looking at in the examples that just printed out whatever was assigned to the instance variables via the parameters in the constructor. Now let's talk about mutator methods. Mutator methods are methods that are going to change the properties of the object, or in other terms, change the instance variables. So they're obviously going to be set values by whatever you pass into the constructor, and then we need other methods to change them in different ways depending on what we're trying to do. So in this example, we have a turkey class. The turkey class has instance variables size and fly. We have a method called change fly that's going to change the fly instance variable to a new value. Notice that change fly is a void. It doesn't return anything, and it does have one parameter, the parameter C, which is type Boolean. So here there's just a little more of that method, just kind of isolated. We have change fly, takes in a parameter, assigns that parameter over to the instance variable. We can obviously make methods that do a whole lot more than this, but this is a very basic mutator method. Accessor methods. Accessor methods are like the print method that we were just looking at in the prior examples with the chicken. They are methods that just access the private data, but they do not in any way change that data. So here we have a method called canFly. Notice that canFly, no way is it modifying any of the instance variables. It's just returning the value stored in the fly instance variable back to wherever it was called from. So let's go look at turkey and turkey runner so that we can see mutator and accessor methods in action. Let's take a look at the actual code for the turkey class and then look at the runner that's actually driving the program and making everything happen. So in the turkey class, as we saw in the slides, we've got two instance variables, one called size, one called fly. We have one constructor. Notice the constructor's named the same thing as the class. It has two parameters, S and C, and then we have a mutator method called changeFly, and then an accessor method called canFly, and another accessor method called print. The accessor methods make no changes to the instance variables. They just either return them or print them out, and then the mutator methods are actually changing the variables and instance variables in some way. So when we run turkey runner, it prints out false, 5, true, and true. The initial turkey object has a size of 5, and the fly is false. So whenever I print out a call to the canFly, it just gives me back whatever's currently stored in fly, which is false. I print it, I get both, and then on the next line after the print, I call changeFly to change the false to true. Print it again, then I call the canFly again. So you get the basic idea. Every time you call canFly, we get back whatever is stored inside of the class in the instance variable fly, and anytime we print, we get both. So let's do this. Let's make another mutator method. We're going to make public void increase size, and we're not going to add a parameter. We're just going to increase the size by 1. So we're going to say size plus plus. So this is a mutator method. It's a little different than the changeFly. The changeFly took a parameter, assigned the parameter over to the instance variable. The increased size is mutating the size by increasing it by 1. So they're both mutators, it's just a little bit different. So now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to tell the bird to increase size, and then I'm going to run it again. So now when it prints out the last time, it's going to print out 6 and true because the size was increased. So let's do that again, because we could do this as many times as we want. This is fun. Call an increased size variable on a reference. You can't get much better than this. So now it goes up to 7. So every time we call the increase size mutator, it bumps up the size by 1. So we could come up with lots of other ways to write accessors and mutators, but you get the general idea. What you need to do is you need to come out into these examples and go to the turkey runner and add method calls and change the parameters, and then go over to the turkey class and add in more mutators and accessors to make sure that you totally understand how all this works.